Let's talk about a hard truth most men avoid. But deep down, they already know. What does it actually look like when a woman doesn't value you? Because it's not always obvious. It's not about whether she sends you good morning texts or remembers your birthday. It's about something deeper. It's about the way she looks at you, the way she talks to you, the way she stops seeing your worth while still expecting your effort. Too many men are stuck chasing a fantasy, the idea that if she stays, it must mean something. That presence equals interest, that if she hasn't left, she still cares. But here's the brutal truth. Some women stay not out of love, but out of comfort, boredom, or ego. They don't value you. They value what you give, your time, your validation, your effort. And if you can't tell the difference, you'll keep investing in someone who's already checked out emotionally. A woman who no longer respects your energy, but still expects your loyalty. This video is not about resentment. It's about awareness, about clarity, about reclaiming your standards before they're buried under silence and sarcasm. Because the truth is, there are behaviors, subtle and sharp, that reveal exactly when a woman stops valuing you as a man. And once you recognize those patterns, you won't be able to unsee them. Nor should you. You'll start noticing how her words cut differently, how her jokes carry edge, how her presence feels more like pressure than peace. So buckle up. We're going to break down 5 signs, not fluff, not guesswork, but rough, clear indicators that she doesn't admire, respect, or even truly see you anymore. And when you see the truth, you'll know exactly what needs to be done. Before we dive in, if you've ever felt like you're giving too much and getting too little, if you've questioned whether your effort even matters anymore, then this message is for you. You're not weak for noticing it. You're strong for facing it. Because in a world that tells men to stay silent, your clarity is your rebellion. Support this channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe for more truth, not comfort. And drop a comment below. If this hits home, your story might be exactly what another man needs to hear. Let's get into it. 1. She talks to you like you're a child. The first place a woman's disrespect shows is not in what she does, but in how she speaks to you. You'll notice it in her tone, the sarcasm, the passive-aggressive phrasing, the way she starts treating you like a student instead of a man. Not directly, not with shouting or insults, but with small verbal cuts. Subtle, sharp, and intentional. She'll explain things to you like you're slow, correct you in front of others, make you the punchline of her jokes with a smile that says, "I know you won't check me." And when you call it out, you become the problem. You're too sensitive. You can't take a joke, but you feel it in your gut, not because you're soft, but because your soul recognizes the erosion. This isn't how a woman talks to a man she admires. It's how she talks to a man she no longer fears losing. And that's the danger. At first, it feels like teasing. Then it feels like testing. Soon, it feels like tolerance. Like she's putting up with you, instead of being present with you. She may not scream, but every word laced with condescension says, "You're beneath me now." This shift is quiet, but destructive. You'll hear things like, never mind, forget it. You just don't get it. Wow, that's not hard to understand, babe. And when she says these things, there's no warmth, just dismissal. The moment you begin justifying her tone, you've already lost ground. Let me put it like this. If a woman feels safe talking down to you, it's because you've created an environment where she believes she can. Respect isn't given, it's enforced. Imagine this. You're out at dinner with friends. A topic comes up, maybe investing, something you're not familiar with. You ask a question. She laughs lightly and says, "Oh, he's not really into this stuff. I'll explain it to him later." Then glances around for approval, making you the soft target in front of everyone. That moment stings, but you smile. You brush it off, because standing up for yourself in public feels dramatic. But here's the truth. It's not dramatic. It's necessary. When a woman publicly undermines you, she's telling the world how little she values your presence. And more importantly, she's watching to see if you'll allow it. She knows exactly what she's doing, and if you let it slide, you've silently agreed to the new power dynamic. Men, listen carefully. Pay attention to her tone when she's annoyed. Notice how she reacts when you make a mistake. Is it constructive or contemptuous? Because disrespect doesn't always show up in volume. Sometimes it whispers, through jokes that cut, through smiles that sting, through words that feel more like judgment than love. The moment you let those words go unchecked, you train her to believe this is acceptable. And once she knows she can talk down to you, she will. 2. She flirts with other men in front of you. The second sign is subtle, but it cuts deeper than most. She flirts with other men while you're standing right there. No yelling, no betrayal in the obvious sense, just a lingering glance, a playful tone, a quick touch on the arm of a man that isn't you, and suddenly, you don't feel like her man anymore. You feel like a bystander to your own relationship. That shift in energy, it's not your imagination. You notice the difference immediately. You're out together, maybe with friends, and then it happens. She lights up in the presence of another man. She laughs louder, leans in closer, and gives him a version of her you haven't seen in weeks. She's not hiding it. She wants you to see it. And here's the truth. When a woman truly values you, she naturally protects the space around you. She guards your dignity. She makes other men know you're present. She avoids even the appearance of disloyalty. But when that respect is gone, so are the boundaries. Now, she's not afraid to make you feel like you're invisible, because deep down, she's testing you. She wants to know how much you'll tolerate, how much disrespect you'll swallow, just to keep the peace. This isn't about the man she's flirting with, it's about the man she's challenging. You, and when you confront it, she flips the script. Suddenly you're the insecure one. She says you're overthinking. She says she's just being friendly. Now she's the victim, and you're the jealous boyfriend, trying to control her. But you know better. You saw the shift. You felt the message. It said, "You're not enough to hold my attention. You won't do anything, even when I push your limits." And here's the worst part. Most men let it slide. They excuse it. They call it harmless. They lie to themselves just to avoid confrontation. But she's watching, she's learning, and every time you say nothing, she loses just a little more respect for you. A woman knows exactly how far she's going. She knows the line. And she crosses it when she believes you won't stop her. This is where the Stoic man draws the line. Not in anger, not in fear, but with calm certainty, because it's not about controlling her actions. It's about controlling your own standards. You don't raise your voice. You don't start a scene. You don't beg for her loyalty. You observe. You decide. You lead. What kind of man do you want to be? When your respect is on the line, the kind who pleads for attention, or the kind who walks away from anyone who plays games with his dignity? You cannot teach a woman to value you with words. You show her through your silence, your boundaries, your willingness to leave the table when you're no longer being served. Respect. A woman who truly sees your worth will never use another man to make you feel small while you're standing right beside her. And if she does, she's already told you everything you need to know. 3. She only comes around when she needs something. The third sign is more subtle than most, but once you see it, you'll never be able to ignore it again. She only comes around when she needs something, not when you need her, not when you're struggling, not when your world feels heavy. No, she shows up when her world feels inconvenient, when she's bored, lonely, stressed, or facing something uncomfortable in her own life. Suddenly, she remembers you exist. And in that moment, she's sweet again, engaged, affectionate. She laughs more, texts back faster, maybe even tells you she misses you. But as soon as she gets what she came for, your attention, your comfort, your emotional labor, she disappears. No closure, no explanation, just gone. And you're left wondering what just happened. That's not love. That's access. That's convenience. When a woman doesn't truly value you, she won't show up for who you are. She'll show up for what you provide. And most men don't see it at first, because it's not obvious. She's not asking for money. She's not demanding favor. Sometimes, it's even dressed up as vulnerability. She just wants someone to talk to, someone to vent to, someone to tell her she's still worth something. And you, because you care, you give, you offer support, you show up, you listen, you open your heart. But if you step back and look closely, you'll see the pattern. She only truly engages when it benefits her. When you need emotional connection, she's cold. When you need reassurance, she's distracted. When you ask for her presence, she's suddenly too busy. Her energy isn't consistent. Her affection has conditions, and her attention vanishes the second your usefulness fades. And the worst part, it slowly starts to chip away at you. You begin to feel like a backup plan, like you're just sitting on the bench, waiting for your turn that never comes. You sense it. You feel it in your chest. You're not a priority. You're just a placeholder, a quiet comfort, until she finds something better to focus on. That's not a relationship. That's a transaction. And men, the longer you stay in that kind of imbalance, the more confused, exhausted, and undervalued you'll become. Not because she changed, but because you never enforced what you deserve. You allowed it. You made it too easy, too available, too unconditional. And now, she doesn't even have to try. She knows she can come and go as she pleases, because you won't stop her. You question your worth. You wonder, am I not interesting enough? Not strong enough? But the truth is, the problem isn't you. It's that she never respected what you brought to the table. She only appreciated the benefit of having access to it. This is the reality most men ignore, because admitting it hurts more than pretending. But let me make it clear. If a woman only shows up when it serves her, she doesn't love you. She uses you. And if she only remembers you when she's lacking something, then she never really saw you at all. 4. She publicly disrespects you and laughs it off. There's a kind of disrespect that doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't slap you across the face. It doesn't show up in arguments or yelling. It shows up, dressed as a joke, wrapped in sarcasm, wearing a smile. She'll make you the punchline in front of her friends, your family, maybe even total strangers. She'll mock the way you talk, dismiss your opinions with a roll of her eyes, interrupt your sentences and twist them into something ridiculous. And when people laugh, she laughs, the loudest, as if your embarrassment is her personal win. At first, you might laugh along. You'll tell yourself, it's harmless, it's just her being playful. But deep down, something shifts, because it's not just teasing, it's exposure. A signal. A woman who truly respects her man doesn't humiliate him for sport, even when she's upset. She guards his dignity. She may challenge him in private, but in public, she stands beside him, not above him. So when she starts throwing jabs in front of others, it's not by accident, it's strategy. What she's really saying is, I can diminish him, and he won't do a damn thing about it. And when you finally bring it up, she flips it on you. You're too sensitive. You can't take a joke. You're overreacting. Now the game shifts again. You become the problem. For noticing the disrespect, you start second-guessing yourself, wondering if maybe you are too soft. Maybe it was just a joke. Maybe you're being dramatic. That's how it starts. A joke here. An eye roll there. A cutting remark at a party, and before you realize it, you've been trained to tolerate being disrespected. You learn to smile through the sting, to minimize your pain, just to keep things light. But that quiet erosion eats away at your backbone, your dignity, your voice. And slowly, you stop speaking up, because deep down, you know she doesn't take you seriously anymore. And worse, the people around you don't either. They see it. They hear the way she mocks you, and because you don't push back, they assume it's okay. They think you're the guy who gets laughed at, not the man who's respected. And once people see you that way, it sticks. It becomes your reputation. And here's the brutal truth. You can't build something real, something lasting, with someone who's comfortable humiliating you. Love doesn't shame. Respect doesn't play games at your expense. If she can't protect your image when others are watching, she doesn't value you. If she needs to tear you down to feel strong or look funny, she's already lost respect for you, and she wants others to lose it too. It's never just a joke. It's a test. And every time you let it slide, you fail that test. You teach her, and everyone else, that your dignity is up for sale, that your silence is permission, that your manhood is negotiable. But here's the truth that most men ignore. A woman who truly values you will never make your dignity the price of her entertainment. 5. She constantly compares you to other men. There's a quiet kind of pain that creeps in when a woman starts measuring you against other men. She may not raise her voice. She may not insult you directly. But the message lands all the same. You're not enough. It begins casually. She mentions how her co-worker's husband just bought a new car, how her friend's boyfriend takes her on trips, how her ex used to handle things better. She drops these comments like they're harmless, like she's just making conversation, but each one hits you like a silent judgment. Each one carves into your confidence. She's not saying it outright, but you feel the unspoken words, be more like him. It doesn't matter who he is, a celebrity, a mutual friend. A man from her past. The moment she holds him up as a standard, she's already started tearing you down. And when it becomes a pattern, it's not a fluke. It's not about helping you grow. It's about reshaping you into someone else. You begin to notice she only praises what you lack. She stays silent about what makes you strong. Instead of encouraging your unique path, she's busy pointing out the road someone else took. And somehow, in her mind, his way is always better. You start to question your choices, your clothes, your drive, your goals. You begin reshaping yourself, not for growth, but for survival. You lose touch with who you are, in the hope of becoming someone she'll finally approve of. But here's the truth. That's not love. That's pressure. That's manipulation. That's control. Real connection is built on seeing a man for who he is, and still standing beside him. Let's say you're building something, a business, a dream, and times are hard. She doesn't lift you up. Instead, she says, "My friend's man just got promoted again. He takes care of her. Must be nice." She says it with a smile. But inside, it punches you in the gut, not because you're jealous, but because you realize something deeper. She's not even pretending to believe in you anymore. Those comments don't light a fire in you. They drain you. They plant doubt. They whisper that your struggle isn't worth respecting. Before long, you're trapped in a silent race against men who don't even know they're in competition with you. You're no longer her partner. You're just one more player on the scoreboard in her mind. And here's the cruel irony. You can't win, because it was never about improvement. It was about dominance. It was about her trying to mold you into the version of a man she saw in someone else. But you are not him. You are you. And if that's not enough for her, she was never with you. Only the idea of what she could turn you into. A woman who values you won't need to compare you to other men. She won't use their success to shame your process. She'll recognize your strength, even when you're still fighting for your future. She'll say, "I see you. I believe in your path." Not, "Why can't you be like him?" Because real loyalty doesn't compare. It commits. 6. She stops caring about your time or effort. There's a moment every man dreads, when he realizes he's the only one still trying. He plans the dates. He checks in. He makes time. Even when he barely has any, he gives, hoping it's felt. But slowly, something shifts. She used to respond with warmth. Now, her replies are cold, brief, delayed, or worse, absent. And when he shows up for her, she doesn't meet him there. Not with presence, not with appreciation, just silence or expectation. At first, it feels confusing. Maybe she's busy. Maybe she's just tired. So he gives her grace. But then it happens again and again, and the space between them begins to grow. He sends a message. She leaves it on read. He clears his evening. She cancels without notice. He shows up, and she acts like it's routine. No thanks, no recognition, no effort in return. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's real, and it cuts deeper than most betrayals, because it tells him the truth. She's checked out. He still cares, so he keeps giving, keeps hoping, keeps showing up, thinking maybe, just maybe, she'll see it and return the energy. But deep down, he knows. He feels it in the silence, in the lack of eye contact, in how she used to listen and now barely hears, It chips away at him, not in one blow, but in 100 little cuts. He starts questioning himself. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I'm too needy. But no, he's not asking for too much. He's asking for something basic, mutual respect. You see, when a woman values you, she treats your time as sacred, not perfect, not flawless, but intentional. She shows up, she responds, she honors your effort, even the small stuff. But when she no longer sees you the same way, everything you do feels like a burden. Your effort feels invisible. Your presence feels replaceable. And here's the brutal truth. No amount of extra effort can save a relationship where your energy goes unnoticed. Because love doesn't survive on one person trying harder. It survives on balance, on reciprocity, on being seen, not just needed. A woman who cares will never let you feel like a ghost. She won't ignore what you give. She won't make your time feel disposable. Not because she's trying to impress you, but because she respects you. Respect shows in how she treats your availability, your space, your sacrifices. If she constantly cancels last minute, shows up late, or acts like you're just there, she's already somewhere else, emotionally. And if that continues, you're no longer a partner in her world. You're just a placeholder. So, here's what every man needs to know. If she stops caring about your time, it's not your job to convince her to value it. It's your job to walk away with your dignity intact, because time is the one thing you can't get back. And a woman who can't appreciate that doesn't deserve it. 7. She makes you feel lucky to have her. There's a subtle trap that many men fall into. It doesn't start with yelling. It doesn't start with cheating. It starts when you begin to feel like you're the lucky one just to be in her life. She becomes the center of the relationship. Her wants, her moods, her preferences, and somewhere along the line, without even realizing it, you stop asking if your needs matter too. You shrink, not physically, but emotionally, mentally. You begin adjusting everything just to avoid upsetting her. You don't want to be too much. So you pull back. You go quiet. You convince yourself, if I stay calm, if I give her space, she'll appreciate me. But here's the harsh truth. She doesn't, because what started as admiration has turned into imbalance. And now you're no longer her equal. You've become her follower. And she knows it. She can feel it. Because women are deeply intuitive. They pick up on energy even when no words are spoken. And when a man starts treating her like a prize he doesn't deserve, she treats him like a prize that's already been won. You begin to believe that she's out of your league, that she could leave at any moment. And you wouldn't blame her. So you overcompensate. You buy gifts. You say yes when you should say no. You try harder. But the more you give, the more she pulls away. Why? Because no woman can respect a man who doesn't respect himself. She won't say it out loud, but inside, she feels it. He needs me more than I need him. And that imbalance breeds contempt. Let's pause here and ask something important. Who gave her that power? Was it her, or was it you? Because the hard reality is this. Sometimes, the reason a woman doesn't value you is because you stopped valuing yourself first. You put her on a pedestal. You made her approval, your oxygen. You made your confidence depend on her attention. And when a man gives away his center like that, he loses. More than a woman, he loses himself. This is not about arrogance. It's about reclaiming balance. A healthy relationship isn't about proving your worth. It's about two people who both know what they bring to the table, and a woman who truly values you will never make you feel like you're chasing her validation. She will challenge you, but she won't belittle you. She will expect effort, but she will return it. She will want the best from you, but not at the cost of your dignity. If she makes you feel like you're constantly trying to measure up, like you're walking on eggshells just to keep her happy, that's not love. That's performance. And men, you weren't built to perform for affection. You were built to lead with presence, purpose, and power. So if you're in a situation where you constantly feel lucky just to have her, step back and ask, what message am I sending? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. A woman who doesn't value you will still keep you around, as long as you don't value yourself either. It's not about love. It's about convenience. It's about control. It's about ego. But you are not a background character in her story. You are the author of your own, and the moment you remember your worth, she will either rise to meet it or fall away because she never truly saw it in the first place. This wasn't just a video, it was a mirror to show you the truth you've been trying not to see. Because once you recognize the signs, you can't keep playing dumb. You can't keep saying, that's just how women are. No, this is about what you've tolerated, what you've excused, and how that's shaped the man you've become. If any of these signs struck a nerve, don't bury it, own it. Drop your story in the comments, not for sympathy, but so other men can see they're not alone in this. This space isn't just content, it's a brotherhood. And I read every comment because this message isn't theory, it's survival. You deserve more than silent suffering. You deserve respect. You deserve a woman who doesn't humiliate you, use you, or treat your effort like it's nothing. And most of all, you deserve to stop pretending that crumbs are a feast. So here's your wake-up call. Raise your standards, or get used to being used. No more apologies for asking for respect. No more justifying disrespect. And no more hoping someone changes when you haven't changed what you're willing to accept. If you're still here, it means you're ready. Ready to lead, not chase. Like this video, subscribe for more, and in the comments, drop the word enough. If you know it's time,